What are feelings?
That's a really good question.
It's a great question. It is a great question.
I've never had them.
No,
That explains a lot.
So that is, I believe that. See, this is the thing. People say,
Provo's
those
most
are
eligible bachelor.
those
That's
are-
why you'll eat your neighbors.
people will say, those are just feelings, right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of like saying God is Santa Claus in the sky, right? It is a mischaracterization of something that is actually far more profound. What your entire human experience is feelings.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Midnight Mormons. I'm your host, Cardinellis, and today we're joined in the studio by Kwaku L., Brad Whitbeck, and Jacob Hansen. And we just tackled epistemology, how you can know that God is real and the church is true and why you should say it. At the same time, we've noticed a problem within our faith of people believing things for feelings alone. You can't tear down faith for facts alone epistemology or observable facts with your certain set of data alone. At the same time, there's a weakness as we try and take the mote out of our own eye to see the beam in others, that oftentimes from our pulpits during testimony meetings, there seems to be an emphasis on a different one of the five, Hansen 5, dare we say, ways of knowing that things are true, that is feelings alone. Jacob Hansen, Brad Whitbeck, Kwaku L., where do I go wrong?
I'm going to say...
Like in your life?
Yeah.
Or,
No, so we often talk about, so there's a doctrine out there called sola scriptura. It's a basis of Protestantism in large measure, and it's the idea is scripture alone, that scripture is the ultimate authority on what is true and what isn't, right? It's kind of the trump card for everything. And there are all sorts of problems with that doctrine. We reject it. And the problem is that Latter-day Saints, because we believe that through the Spirit we can know things, that they then think that the Spirit means just your feelings alone. Mm-hmm. I believe that
sola
is
scriptura.
Sola, yeah.
I don't know if that's the right way to say that.
If you nailed the Latin with sola scriptura being correct, I will have the utmost respect for you right now.
I doubt it. I doubt it heavily.
And so a lot of people critique members of the church because they say, well, just because of your warm and fuzzies, that doesn't mean that X, Y, or Z is true. And to a certain extent, they are right. All alone, that is a very, just going with what you feel, you get contradictory things, and it doesn't work by itself.
In fact, there needs to be an order to things, and that's in the scriptures. Like with Joseph Smith stopping Hiram Page from just getting revelations out of a seer stone, right?
Yes, we have authority.
Yeah, exactly. So we have other things that we need to be leaning on. And I love this, that you're bringing this up, because I think that this is one of the things that gets critiqued about our church that is a valid critique. Mm-hmm. When people are like, you can't just know solely by feelings. We're like, yeah, that's not what we're trying to say.
Yes.
That is not the only thing. It needs to be part of the holistic whole of coming to know something.
That's why, remember, what did he say? He said, thought you could just ask me? No, you had to study it out in your mind. Right? Mm-hmm. So we know that the mind is part of our epistemological toolkit.
And I think part of this sometimes comes from people misinterpreting when the scriptures say, like, faith is believing without things you cannot see, right? Which I'm butchering based off of which song? Oh my gosh, it's from the Living Scriptures. But so with that idea, I think people think of that as though I believe in things I can't see, meaning like things that are real that I can't see, like spirits and stuff like that. But it's also things beyond what we can see in the future, right? You have an example of Abraham being a super faithful guy because of the things of the future. These were things that he knew, like things that he believed without seeing, the promise that God gave him that he would have such a numerous posterity, right?
Yeah.
This is not something that's limited in time when we talk about faith is something we believe without seeing. Yeah. And so I think people like limit it to that tiny scope, and then they're like, oh yeah, just the things I randomly feel, that's what becomes true. And then it's like the time that they start feeling like they should do something that is against the commandments, like suddenly, oh yeah, it's okay to like do that thing because I feel it.
Because they reject, and that's what happens a lot of the time. So there are certain people out there who will reject the words of the prophets because of what they feel, because what they feel is the ultimate trump card.
Okay, so I just got to jump right in here that I actually looked it up. And if you go to the Google English to Latin translator, as we have right here, sola scriptura means scriptures alone. So just like you say, it is literally a rejection of all the other 5 witnesses of the Hansen 5 for the collective witness model.
It just says that one's supreme.
It just says that one is, well, it doesn't say supreme. I mean, the translation is scripture alone.
Okay.
And we hear sola scriptura all the time. So if we want to go to the English to Latin translator again and say feelings alone, it's solas affectus. So you were close. You were close, Brad. You were
I was
really
just
close.
too Spanish about it.
You know what I'm saying?
Going with
Yeah.
sentir.
You have a very Latin look.
But
No.
But do you guys see how this can, like, in a church that believes, and there's a conflict though, because there are those in the church that are kind of like sola autoridad, like sola authority.
Yeah.
Like where it's,
Did the prophet say it?
did the prophet say it? Well, then that's it. You know, and
When the prophet tells me it's okay for you to wear pants, then you can.
That's and so the thing is
I
we
love how
exist.
Mormon fundamentalists from Utah all have like really deep Southern Louisiana and Mississippi accents somehow.
Yours
you
is
know?
like a Canadian type
Yeah.
of like a Minnesota like hick voice.
Oh, that's too funny,
It's
dude.
the Hicks I've interacted with, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so keep going. Finish this up, bro.
So real quick, the problem that people have, and this is a genuine challenge that we have, is that you have witnesses that don't align with one another.
Yeah.
Maybe you intuit that something is true, but then the empirical and rational evidence doesn't align with it. Or maybe the church authority has said something, but you don't feel like it does. Okay, these are, I believe, natural tensions that exist because of flaws in humanity.
And reality.
And just reality. And so you could
this
be...
is
oh, go ahead.
actually something that people say all the time to me around like the idea that like within the church, well, it's not a very efficient way to do things. I'm like, yeah, that's because reality isn't efficient. You can't like, you have to work out to gain muscle. That's not very efficient, is it? Like this is reality. You have to learn line upon line, precept on precept. That's not efficient at all. Yeah, it's reality. Reality is inefficient.
And so
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry for that tangent.
And that
but-
it is a real challenge when we have things that we and this even happens in secular things as well. I mean, you do not intuit some of the truths that are rationally being shown as true within physics.
Mhm.
Like they are totally intuitively like don't make any sense.
Magnetism makes no freaking sense to somebody who has a completely Newtonian physical mechanics universe.
Yes.
Like gravitational pull,
It's-
radio waves, understanding Schrodinger's cat. Like none of this stuff makes any sense to a Newtonian mechanical world until all of a sudden, oh, it's proven true.
But I want to real quick just hit this one thing that I think is really important.
Yeah.
And it goes back to the scripture, if ye are not one, ye are not mine. So if you think of these things as witnesses, right? And like the Hansen 5 witnesses, let's say,
Yeah.
if they all say the same thing, you are extremely confident that something is true. Where if they don't, then you become less confident. And so you might struggle with that, which is okay. But what I'm saying is that our goal here in the church is to have all of these things align because truth is I wanted to say it in Spanish, una sola. It's
Circumscribed in one great whole.
It's one great whole. It is when those things all align.
Like the Trinity.
yeah.
There we go. We
like
found it.
the formless, genderless, passionless, everythingless
The
Trinity.
description of nothing.
Wait.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my big question is like, what are feelings?
That's a really
No,
good question.
it's a great question.
actually.
It is a
I've
great
never
question.
had them.
No,
That explains a lot.
So that is, I believe that. See, this is the thing. People say, "Oh,
Provost
those
most
are."
eligible bachelor.
those
That's
are-
why you'll eat your neighbors.
People will say, "Oh, those are just feelings," right?
Yeah.
Okay, it's kind of like saying God is Santa Claus in the sky, right? It is a mischaracterization of something that is actually far more profound. What your entire human experience is feelings. Like
It is just
Like-
feelings, yeah.
like okay, let's go now to you have a you know what else is just feelings? You feeling really, really sad when your child just got killed by a car. That you could just look. Are you going to look at someone? Oh, those are just feelings. It's like, no, that's literally going back to what we were talking about before. That's what makes you a human being. They're literally trying to suck the soul. And the thing is what is more real than suffering?
Right.
What is more real than your experience of joy? What is, like, I will doubt that this, again, going back to the self-evident principle, I'll doubt that this desk is here in front of me. I won't doubt the feelings that I have when my child dies in front of my eyes. You know what I'm saying? It's like, what's really real?
Yeah.
And you start going, whoa. You mean these people are missing an entire aspect of what it means to be a human being and an entire aspect of reality that really is more fundamental than the physical?
Okay, wait. Repeat that one really fast. Repeat that one.
People are, in our modern secular culture, we have taken the soul out of life. Nothing is sacred anymore, and we have reduced everything down to materiality. And when you do that, you have literally taken the soul out of everything. And the thing is, but that's not the case. In fact, nothing is more self-evident than the self, than the fact that you exist and that you feel and that you experience. Like, that is the fundamental reality. And they literally say that that is, quote unquote, just feelings.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
That's subjective, Jacob.
It's like, yeah. Anyway,
So which one are you, Jacob? Are you the guy in the middle? Are you the feels guy? You know what I'm saying? Is that what you are? Hashtag feelings. All the feels.
all the feels.
Okay, no, I dig this, dude. And so what is the antidote? Because obviously if sola scriptura provides 4 blind spots, then solus affectus, which is just the Mormon version of all the feels, okay, inherently provides blind spots in the same way that the famous elephant analogy of the man who is blind and the man who is mute and the man who is no sensory organs, the man who can, you know, all of them have their different disability. They're feeling the elephant. They all think it's a different thing because they're also feeling a different part.
Yeah.
So just like all of them are incorrect and then inherently correct at the same time, what's the antidote for people who have heavily relied on feelings, which I think is why so many people go inactive over church history, truth claim debunkings, which aren't debunkings, but just cynical interpretations of like not even firsthand accounts of 300-year-old fourth person storytelling.
Every single time.
You know? Yeah, every single time. What is the antidote to that?
The antidote is to do what the Lord has told us to do. Open your eyes. Recognize that truth comes through a variety of different means and absorb truth from wherever it comes. And that is what we're supposed to do. I love the thing in our scriptures. And when I had my debate at Apology at Church, I said that one of the great things about our religion is that we are going out into the world and finding whatever truth is out there, and we're bringing it to Zion. There's no creed that we have to conform to. There's no like if it's true, it's ours. And that is a beautiful doctrine. And it's a fairly unique doctrine.
And I think it's something that we need to keep in mind and maybe be better about on our show sometimes is recognize almost every single person on earth does what they do because of truth, right? They believe something that is true. Even those people that you were debating with.
Faith in something that they believe is true.
And they have a little bit of truth with it, right?
Yeah.
Like even those people that you were debating in Apologia, they have a certain level of truth there,
Absolutely.
right? And I've even noticed sometimes they know some of those truths better than people within the church.
Yeah.
And so when we bring everyone together to bring the truths that they have into one place, and as Joseph Smith said, like bring all truth into one, what was the
Into
quote?
He
Zion.
said circumscribed into one great whole.
Yes. So as we do that together, then we will edify everybody. And that's what the Spirit does.
Okay.
Is it enables us all to edify one another and bring everyone else up.
It's the nexus of rational knowledge, of empirical knowledge, of moral knowledge, of spiritual knowledge, of of authority properly exercised. It is life eternal.
Yeah.
All right. So the Spirit just told me we need to go have lunch. Not quite sure if it was my stomach and my feelings telling me that I'm hungry. But we got to get out of here and chow down and feed the tabernacle of clay in the same way that we have our spirit during this production. This is awesome. This is Midnight Mormons. See you guys in the next episode.